Our email address, there's Facebook and Twitter and so on. It's like getting, it's like going to the hearing center and, without leaving your home, right? Today, you can ask any question you want.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. One of the things we wanted to touch on, and we'll explore this whole area, is what you're looking for when people come to see you to get tested for hearing. What certain aspects of their their everyday life that you're examining to get a proper diagnosis and so on.
Yeah, well, typically people come to see us because they're having difficulty hearing. Either they feel they're having difficulty hearing, or those around them do. And so when we evaluate their hearing ability, what we want to do typically is if there is a hearing loss, we want to identify the nature of the hearing loss, the type of the hearing loss, where the hearing loss may reside, and additionally, sometimes a hearing loss may be associated with a greater health concern.
Right.
And so that's something as well that we look for.
Right.
And
now you're looking at all aspects of hearing too, right? So it could be a conversational sort of situation, right?
Yeah.
It could be like hearing things out in the street, for example, in traffic can be difficult for a lot of people, right?
That's right.
So you examine all those areas?
Absolutely, absolutely. So what we test, of course, is a wide range of frequencies, and we're able to identify what hearing range the individual is having difficulty grasping.
Yeah.
Typically, most people don't have a flat hearing loss. It generally varies from region to region, and so that's what we typically identify.
Right.
And
so what you're saying is not all situations are the same for people with hearing loss, right?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, it varies greatly.
Yeah.
On a case-by-case basis, and so what that allows us to do, once we've kind of defined the nature of the hearing loss and additionally what areas they're having difficulty hearing in, usually that answers a lot of their questions. It gives them some direction as to why they're having difficulty following a conversation, why they're having difficulties in certain environments, and ultimately that's what we want to do, is just give them direction and address any major health concerns as well.
You get a starting point, right? And that's where you can develop a sense of what exactly the exact problem is and what you can do to help people. Excuse me, in various situations.
Yeah, at the very least, what we're doing is we're establishing a baseline, if you will.
Yeah.
And then from there, we can either continue to monitor their hearing ability over the years, or again, just give them a sense of direction and what are their options. And I think a major question that people often have as well is what to anticipate with their hearing loss.
Yeah.
If they've developed a hearing loss, it really depends on the severity as well as the nature of the hearing loss, as to its progression. And so that's a very important question that we typically answer.
I would assume, JB, that you run into a lot of people who, through no fault of their own really, are in denial about hearing loss to a certain degree. Would that be fair?
That's quite common. That's quite common. And I think that relates to the nature of the hearing loss. I mean, most hearing losses are age-related.
Yeah.
So there's that age connotation, which is sometimes difficult to accept, but also just the insidious nature of an age-acquired hearing loss. I mean, it creeps up on you.
Yeah.
And you just don't realize what you're hearing, what you're not hearing.
Along those same lines, then, is it reasonable to expect, and when it comes to diseases and things that are physically wrong with you, to go to the doctor and so on? Is it one of those cases where hearing loss, the earlier you go investigate, the better?
Yeah, it is. And what can happen once your hearing loss develops to a certain severity, what begins to develop is a form of atrophy, and that's referred to as auditory deprivation.
Okay.
And so you want to maintain your hearing. You want to prevent that atrophy from settling in, because there's some serious consequences associated with auditory deprivation.
Right.
And so once you're in the early stages of a hearing loss, I would suggest once it begins to affect your ability to communicate, that's usually when you want to start considering doing something about it.
We're gonna take a break, but we got many other issues to explore, plus your questions. If you have an issue with hearing loss, or someone you know and love who you want to get some help, feel free to ask questions. That's what Ask the Expert is all about. 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Email us, Facebook us, tweet us, doesn't matter. We'll answer your questions today with JB Robillard from Robillard Hearing Centers. There's all the locations. 3 locations and an excellent website, hearingisbelieving.com. We'll be back with more of Ask the Expert after this.